What's up, guys? So in this video I want to talk about something that maybe should have talked about before the series came along this way. The difference between sports dogs, protection dogs, and police dogs. A lot of people think because they have one dog, such as a protection dog, that it can do police work, or because they have a sports dog that they can do police work. Well, that delusion is not real. It is a delusion. It is a misconception, an unrealistic expectation for any kind of sports dog. And the reason is because sports dogs, their reward is treats, toys. Their reward is not the same as a police dog's. A police dog's reward is the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the bond that it shares with its handler, with its team. With that, also, the goal between the two is different. A sports dog's goal is to get a piece of paper. It wants to get points to be able to get a title, to get a piece of paper, to get a trophy that says, hey, you can perform circus tricks for food. As a police dog, its goal, its purpose, its livelihood is to serve and protect. Now, with the protection side, its reward is cookies and treats, a bond with its handler because you do a little bit more, because it is quote unquote personal protection, so it's a little bit more personal than with the sports dog. But its reward is the bond and camaraderie that is there with the handler. But don't get that confused with the same bond and community that the police have with their dogs, because it's not the same, because of how that bond comes about, how that training and that knowledge that is installed into that dog is done. So I'm not worried about too much of the sports dog, because sports dog is just circus tricks and performances. Protection dogs, to a large degree, it's the same thing. It mirrors the sports way too much. But that's a subject and conversation for a different day. But with the protection dog is defense only, which means that the adversary comes towards or to the dog in order for the dog to react. Whereas with police dogs, the dogs are offense, which means they go out and willingly and purposely seek to capture, to apprehend subjects, suspects, bad guys, criminals, thugs, hood rats, whatever you want to call them. That's the difference. Now, the difference between defense, which means that you're getting attacked, you're defending yourself against attack, and offense, which means that you are going out attacking or looking for the engagement, looking for the bad guy, is exactly that. One, you having the subject attack you, the other one you attacking the subject. Now, with that, there can be components from one that translates into the other. For instance, if you are on defense but you have a large property, that dog doesn't necessarily have to stay in the house in order to defend that property. It can go anywhere on the property. Therefore, it is seeking to a degree the suspect in order to defend that property. But as soon as it goes off of that property, it has crossed then into completely offense. So there is a defined, distinct line that determines which one is which, and usually it's the boundaries. If it is on your property, it is defense, no matter how big your property is. As soon as it goes off of your property, it is offense because it is now seeking for a reason, for a purpose, the subject. Now, with offense, if you're going out and you're looking for a subject, this is more so for military than it is for police, because police don't take territory, they don't take buildings, they don't hold buildings, they don't hold strongholds, they don't make lines such as front line, secondary line, third line, and will we support, right? So that is the difference. But with offense, a dog can have a defensive component in it, because if you're going out and striking the enemy and you take this building, of course you don't want the enemy to take that building back over, so you will have to defend that building and still find a way to be able to go forward to engage enemy that are still beyond that point. So that's how the components overlap. And like I said, mostly you only see that in the military, because with law enforcement, you don't hold strongholds. For instance, even if it was, say for instance, a active shooter situation where you clear a school or a hospital from an active shooter, yes, you clear each room, you clear each hallway, you clear each floor, you clear each ring of that building, that structure, but you don't necessarily hold it. Which means that if there's a loophole or a back door that the subject can circle around, it is possible that the subject will and can circle around, because you don't necessarily hold the ground that you already taken. You are actively seeking. You are more so in that offensive mode, that offensive mind frame. So, in essence, people will want to talk about drives, that it is a issue of drives, that you have a defense drive and you have a protection drive, a prey drive. I do not believe in drives. Yes, you heard that right. I do not believe in drives. There's no such thing as a prey drive. If you look at the word prey, prey means to fall victim. If you want to put a drive out there that makes sense, by definition, then it's a predatorial drive, because it is actively seeking to destroy, to engage something. But if you do that, it sounds really bad. So why would you do that, right? But I do not believe in drives, because the dog doesn't have to be in a drive to act. The dog should be in the mind frame of wanting to survive. That is what drive means by definition, according to Webster. It is the motivation and the willingness to do something based on a necessary need or want. And that need and that want, its motivation is to survive. A dog does everything to survive. It doesn't have to be in a drive to survive. It has to just be in existence. Its ultimate mind frame is to survive. So, no drive. It's offense and defense. That is the determining factor of a protection dog and a police dog. Now with the sports dog, it is a show, because there's no necessarily lines or determining factor of what the dog is in, because the dog is not necessarily calling a specific aerial. It is more so guarding a specific person or object. For instance, if you watch sports, they lay a basket down and they have the dog guard the basket. Where as long as that subject is coming towards that basket, that dog is defensive. It's defending against the attack. But as soon as that subject gets close enough and that dog has to go out, it is no longer defensive because its objective, its reason for doing it was to stay and guard that basket. So that is the main difference between sports dogs, protection dogs, and police dogs. Any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them below. Till next time.